Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 62 of the GVGCast. We're starting a bit late today. Obviously, we really appreciate your patience, and we're gonna roll right into the show. I'm your host for today, Ash Paulson, and I'm joined by Team Brandaniel. Of course, our amazing video editor, Brandon Miracle, and our equally amazing art director, Daniel Alba. And it's just us three today. Steve's dad's birthday is today, so he's with his parents, of course, celebrating his dad's birthday. Derek is still on vacation and hopefully having the time of his life. And John better be asleep because it's like 2 a.m. for him or something, 1:30 a.m. So you got us three today. And Brandon, Daniel, how are you guys doing this week, guys?
I am a appropriately sleepy boy.
Okay.
I missed out this morning. I had a bit of a rough night, but I've been resting all day, so I wanted to be here with the boys. Um, I've been playing Final Fantasy 16,
Oh, nice.
and when my body gives out, I switch over to Pikmin 1.
Okay.
It's
Nice,
nice
nice.
to have I've got this heavy game I can play, and then when I need to take a break from that, I go to the delightfully kind of violent world of Pikmin 1.
Right. It is a surprisingly violent game, isn't it?
I lost 38 Pikmin all at once.
Oh, no.
Um, I was having a little trouble with the controls. My yellow Pikmin had a bomb and threw it down in a bad place,
Oh,
and
no.
it just killed a whole thing of Pikmin for me. So that's how my day's going.
Damn. That gives me similar energy to the few times I have set off a bomb arrow a little bit too close to myself in Tears of the Kingdom and just one-shotted myself with a bomb. So I know what you mean. Daniel, how's your week going, dude?
Skills and things like
Right. It was just a lot of fun, and Eggman dropping crazy raps. I loved it. Really, it's so true. And to go back to what you just said a little bit earlier, Daniel, I do want to give you a special shout out because one of the reasons we started late today is because for some reason, well, we knew that Derek and Steve and John were going to be here, of course. But for some reason, I had it in my head that during our weekly meeting, you said you were going to run the stream today, and apparently I had a brain fart, and you never said that, and so I unfortunately springed it on you, and you are a rock star for doing it on such short notice. We super appreciate you, love you, and thank you so much for doing it on such short notice. And I'm sorry that I kind of sprang it on you.
No, it's all good.
Oh,
We're just making it work however way we can.
apparently your audio is unfortunately a little messed up though.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
Oh,
I checked my
he's
audio real
good
quick.
now.
I hadn't run a
Oh,
GVGcast in a while, so I think there was
yeah.
an audio setting that I hadn't set for a while, and just fix that right away.
He's good now.
Uh,
Yeah.
Harvey
So
said, "Oh wait, he's edible again." You're
you are
edible.
quite
apparently edible.
delicious, Daniel.
Oh
But
no.
yeah, so again, just thank you for doing this on such short notice. And this is going to be a little bit lighter of a stream today. We're not going to have the fully featured stuff like Promotoped and the EP scroll at the end, but I will still be reading out all the names. Don't worry. And we'll be back to our normal status next week on GVGcast. Really quickly, I have a couple of birthday shout-outs for our patrons. Claxond, who celebrated their birthday back on June 10th, and Arkwing24, whose birthday is tomorrow, June 24th. So happy birthday to
Happy
both of you.
birthday.
Yeah,
Happy
and hope,
birthday!
yeah, happy birthday, yeah! Hope you spend it playing lots and lots of video games. And on a quick downer, I won't spend too much time on this. Sorry, but I do have a personal tribute that I'd like to just take a minute to do. Unfortunately, a good friend of mine, his name is Andrew, passed away earlier this week due to sudden medical complications, and it was not expected. When I got the call, I was just dumbfounded because we had no reason to believe that he wasn't going to live a regular long life. And so just wanted to say love you, Andrew. Rest in peace, and we'll miss you, man. He was a good friend of mine back during my DDR days. We spent so much time together. So yeah, just wanted to give that little shout out and tribute to him, and just let him know how much we'll miss him. So yeah, with that said, we have a direct to reflect on, but we also have some super chats to go through. And of course, as always, I will be reading these out throughout the show at different segments. So if you don't hear yours right away, don't worry, you will. First off, we've got $5 from Disney Duncan. Thank you so much. With no DLC announcement for Tears of the Kingdom, will there be DLC for the game? Absolutely. I would bet my bottom dollar on it.
It is early.
Yeah.
The game
Yeah.
pretty much just came out. I didn't expect that. I had more of a feeling that we'd have Amiibo than DLC, honestly, because it was weird that we didn't have any of like new design for Zelda, new design for Ganondorf, because we have the new one for Link. But there's still room for DLC. There's still room to like have 8 shrines so you can max out your hearts. There's still room to do the maximize your Master Sword's power, as with the trials from the first game. So yeah, there'll be something. It's just gonna take a moment to cook.
There's also a side quest chain that I think ends in a weird way that feels like it's not
Ooh.
quite finished yet.
Okay.
So that could be a launching off point. But I think Daniel's right. The not having the full hearts is the big giveaway.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm still much earlier in the game. I can't believe how long I've been playing it, and I still haven't done a single story dungeon. But yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
that's the way of that world.
that's how it is, and that's how Tears of the Kingdom be. But yeah, that's interesting to hear you guys say that. And it's not as though Tears of the Kingdom needs more content. I don't really think it does. But I didn't know that about a certain side quest line and stuff. So I'm sure DLC's coming.
That character deserves it. So hopefully.
All right. Oh, I'm curious now. All right. Next up, Jaden Buck with $5. Thank you so much, Jaden. Crazy Question Fridays, crazy question number 87. How different do you think the gaming world would look if Sonic came before Mario? Man, that's a interesting question. It's hard to imagine.
I'm not sure there would be a Mario, to be honest. Like Sonic was the answer to Mario, and I don't think Nintendo would answer Sonic with their own character.
God, no, I don't think so either. I think you're right, Brandon. It's so hard to imagine, just because of the way we're used to things having played out. But it would be pretty different. There might not actually be a Mario if that happened in reverse. You're right.
Knowing Nintendo, they would do their own thing instead of copying. They would iterate instead, and
exactly.
It's hard.
There's
to tell.
a whole genre that hasn't been invented yet that would have happened in that timeline.
Yeah.
Man, Daniel, did you just accuse Sonic of copying Mario on Sonic's birthday? Oh my God, that's brutal, man.
I mean,
Happy birthday, Chronic!
I mean, he's got a one of the most perfect designs, but obviously that takes after certain characters like Mickey Mouse with the shoes,
Totally.
the no pant, no clothes at all, and the white gloves.
Yeah,
But
100
I mean,
Colors
yeah,
being Mario's like in reverse.
Yeah.
basically.
Wow, Disney Duncan back with a trio of super chats. Jeez, thank you so much,
my.
Duncan.
Oh my goodness.
You're incredibly generous. So first one, $5. 10 years ago, Smash 4 was revealed as Smash for 3DS and Wii U, plus Mega Man was revealed. Can you believe it? I hate thinking that was 10 years ago. That hurts
Oh my goodness.
my soul. Yeah, 10.
A whole decade.
That
Nope.
hurts my soul.
I do not hear it.
I know. I still remember that morning like it was yesterday. I was like a kid on Christmas morning. It was one of the most significant, wonderful announcements of my entire gaming life. I was just, I mean, you all know. I mean, I was just beyond over the moon. And that was especially because that was right in the middle of that really dark time for Mega Man fans where there was nothing going on with the franchise for years. So it was a really nice panacea for sure. Next super chat, $5. This is my opinion. I like Twilight Princess, but I hate The Last of Us Part 2. Well, that is an opinion, and that's completely fine and valid. I can't say I agree with it. I like them both. I like Twilight Princess, and I love The Last of Us Part 2, but...
Me too.
But yeah, hey, you know what? Fair enough. Okay, this one I can agree with, though. Disney Duncan's last super chat for now, $2, but The Wind Waker is better than both. Absolutely. Completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Oh,
game.
Sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
Beautiful game.
Oh, gorgeous game. Jacob Tucker with $5. Thanks so much, Jacob. I think the September Direct's going to be a blowout of remaining Switch games while early 2024 preps for the next console's launch. Could be wrong, though. That could be the case. Of course, we don't know for sure we're getting a September Direct yet, but we probably will, given past precedent. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and move us on to the news right now, because our first thing to discuss, really, is this week's Direct and reflecting on that. And Daniel, you in particular didn't quite get your thoughts out there in the same way the rest of us did. And I know that really sucked and that was not fair for you. So I want to start with you, man. Couple days on, 2-3 days on. How are you thinking about the Direct? How are you feeling about it? What's marinating in that amazing brain of yours, my friend?
Well, I'm going to clear something out just real quick. I was a bit thrown off by how, after that Direct, well, we were reacting to Super Mario Brothers Wonder, of course. We'll get into the details later. But we're watching it, we're reacting to it. We're like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is creative. This is so different and unique. And they're doing something different with the Mario Brothers, the 2D Marios in particular. And then we went to, that was an alright Direct. And I'm like, what? Did we watch the same Direct? Because it also seemed like I didn't really react to that because I was thrown off by everyone's sudden like going down on it, but also that I was trying to find I was scanning the Direct to try and get images for our reactions that were, it's a new thing that we're doing. We're having a bunch of different like smaller clips for reactions. So we hope people have been liking that. But I thought it was a great Direct. There was a lot of variety in that Direct. Obviously there was a bit of an emphasis on Mario games, and if you're not into Mario games, I don't know who you are, but also that's fair because not everyone plays 2D platformers. But even within that, there's a lot of variety in that Direct. We had games that, unfortunately, in this atmosphere, not everyone can call these games first. Like when everyone has a presentation in the same month, someone has to call these first, and it becomes like not new news at that point. So Persona 5 Tactica, for example, but we knew that was coming to Switch. But we didn't see that information shown in that trailer. There was new information, new gameplay that was not seen before. The fact that, gosh, what was another one? We had
Star Ocean 2, as Certainly City says in our YouTube chat. Star Ocean 2R, Sonic Superstars.
Sonic Superstars is another one that was previously we saw information for, but there was new information, new footage seen for this. That would have been a big one if Nintendo had gone first, like in some years of E3.
Oh. That would have been great.
Yeah, there are certain years of E3 where Nintendo did go first before everyone started doing their own presentations, and it's just a factor of how the structure that this atmosphere has laid things out. That unfortunately we won't be. If those were the first times we heard about Persona, Sonic, the Metal Gear Solid collection, which is we do now know is coming to Switch, it would have made for a more exciting Direct. So I'm trying to view this in like its own vacuum, in its own bubble. We've got games like the Batman Arkham Trilogy coming out as well. Things that maybe not everyone's excited for, obviously, like Just Dance, Gloomhaven, Fae Farm. Not everyone's excited for titles like those, but there are its fans. Dragon Quest Monsters has its own thing. Like out of nowhere, I did not expect to see that one show up. And then just new titles like Penny's Big Breakaway that looks fantastic from Christian Whitehead's team and the Sonic Mania team.
Wait. Oh,
that
I
looks
can't wait for that.
That looks way too good. That was an awesome surprise. And all this WarioWare, the sequel, The Smooth Moves, one of the best WarioWare games to have been compiled ever. And this is not even including all the Mario titles. Mario RPG. I can't believe we're getting an actual proper, perfect looking remake.
Happy.
It's incredible. And just we had that trifecta of Mario, Peach's untitled game, which we don't know nothing about, but I think it looks very charming. And then Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which I didn't expect that 3DS game to come to come to Switch, but I guess we're doing that. But it does open the door for more 3DS games, like we had Miitopia as well, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. There's some certain 3DS games I hope we get as well.
Give me Tomodachi Life. I want Tomodachi Life on consoles. I enjoy that weird-ass game so much. And, of course, the big one, I think, for a lot of us, Kid Icarus Uprising. I want that so bad on the big screen.
It can happen, but...
Yeah, I think it's possible.
But yeah, all this, Pikmin we learned Switch is now a Pikmin machine. Apparently you can get all the titles on there. I thought it was a really good Direct. There was plenty to look at, a lot of announcements, obviously padded with announcements that some people might not find as exciting, but I thought it was a perfectly great Direct. And I think Brandon shares that sentiment as well.
Yeah, that was a super Brandon coded Direct. Like, I love WarioWare, I love Smooth Moves. Getting a sequel to that, never would have thought that ever happened. So that's like huge for me. My condolences, Ash. Though I don't think that this WarioWare means that Rhythm Heaven isn't also being worked on. Like,
I don't think that one
See,
means the
that's
other. I just don't think Rhythm Heaven's
yeah,
being worked on. Period. I want to
at
believe.
all?
I just don't know that Nintendo even knows what a Rhythm Heaven is anymore. I don't. And of course, they're not big sellers, and I get that. Nintendo's a business at the end of the day, so they got to go with what they think is going to sell. But it's a shame. I didn't want to go a whole console without a Rhythm Heaven game, and maybe we still won't. Maybe we'll still get an announcement, but I don't have a lot of hope right now. But I also know that Sunku, the main music producer and creator of Rhythm Heaven, says he wants to do a new one, and it's basically on Nintendo. The ball's in Nintendo's court. So I know Nintendo watches this every week. So please, Nintendo, come on, Rhythm Heaven, please.
Rhythm Heaven unfortunately sells half of what WarioWare does sell, about
Yeah.
5 million or so across all the entire series. So, I mean, the more profitable one is Wario, which is weird to say in this kind of situation. But it is perfect because the Joy-Con just lend themselves to have a sequel to Smooth Moves. Because the Wii Remote,
Yeah.
there's certain mini games where you kind of it kind of relies on the sensor bar, which doesn't always perfectly work with someone, depending on their perspective and where they're sitting or standing. So it's still a great party game, but using the Joy-Con, you're kind of freed of that. And as you saw in the trailer, there's so many unique things that they can do with that as well. I wonder what they're going to call it, because in Smooth Moves, it's the form baton. But I wonder what these two items are going to be called now within the context of that game.
Right.
But yeah.
Form chopsticks.
The
I like this kind of era of Nintendo we've entered into, where we can simultaneously have like those big hardcore, like primary Nintendo releases alongside these more Wii era silly fun party games that keep coming out. Like
Totally.
we're getting at least like one really fun like party game every year, and that's great for me because I love those kinds of games.
Yeah.
You know, I was raised in the Wii era, so like it's part of me.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if people are looking at Super Mario Brothers Wonder the same way that I am, because like, you know, we had, let's see, what was it, 2006 that new Super Mario Brothers came out, and
Yes.
that's been our 2D Mario since.
Mhm.
This new Super Mario Brothers game, not new, this Super Mario Brothers game that's coming out is the Mario game I've been wanting for damn near 20 years. So the fact that it's finally happening is like, it's a huge deal to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hear you, dude. I don't know about how many other people are thinking about this the same way as you, but I sure am. I've been wanting 2D Mario to have personality again for so long. And that's not to say that all the new games were bad. I didn't really love DS or 2, but I really liked Wii and U. Like, I thought those are, really strong, and Luigi U, really strong 2D Mario games, but they just didn't have much personality. And this is bringing
Yeah.
that back to 2D Mario.
Brandon and I were talking about this in our GVA cast pretty much just yesterday, but I don't think we needed as many new Mario Brothers as we have. I think we dwindled it down to like the new Super Mario Brothers on the DS and then on Wii. Those are like just the main ones, because really all that this is not knocking against new Super Mario Brothers, by the way. We're just fatigued. That's just what it is right now. We've had a lot of that, and they don't really iterate much between the titles. The biggest leaps that they've made is adding multiplayer to platformers and having just different power-ups for each game. And I can't really think of much else that makes them stand apart from each other besides those. But then you look at Wonder, and immediately the tone is completely different. The characters are the emotes, which is incredible. Just the fact that it feels like it's Mario again, because they're actually making animations and emotes that just, it's different, and it feels more in line with the Mario universe than just having your static expressions, the same grass world, lava world, ice world over and over again. And I'm just excited to see more.
And Daisy's playable. She's playable for the first time.
She's
think, in a
here.
Mario game. Yeah.
Who expected that?
The fact that this might be the first time that Peach, Daisy, and if Rosalina's in there too, all three other princesses can be playing in one field on a mainline Mario title. That's special right there.
I'd be surprised if Rosalina isn't playable ultimately. Like, I mean, she
She
Mhm.
was
has
in
to
3D
be.
World. She has to be, right?
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
I think you both made a good point that, yeah, like I originally thought that this was a good direct for me personally, not great but good, and that's primarily because the highs were so high. Obviously, Mario RPG, Mario Wonder, etc. But for me personally, in terms of what you said you called it Brandon coded, and this wasn't as much of an Ash coded direct for me. Like
Sure,
last
yeah.
September, I got Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line among some other things, so that was coded to me. This time, I didn't get quite as much that I personally am excited for, except for some of the really high highs. Obviously, I'm also hyped for WarioWare and such. But I'm not a big Pikmin guy. I'm gonna try 4. I never really got into the other games though. MGS is Metal Gear Solid having a release date and being confirmed for Switch is cool, but we already knew about it. Sonic Superstars can't wait, but we already knew about it. That said, you guys both made a really good point in that in a bubble, it was great because I'm looking at it from the perspective of being an enthusiast, working in the industry, watching 12 different presentations in June and reacting to them, not just the direct, which some more less enthusiast, audience members might just watch the direct and they didn't know about Sonic. They didn't know about Metal Gear, and that's super awesome. So you guys made a great point. In a bubble, it was really great. I think just for me personally, it was good.
We're just fatigued from watching 2 weeks worth of presentations, and your
Yeah.
average Joe or Jane who's watching this and has kids, they're watching this for the first time and they didn't know about like Sonic Superstars, for example, and they're like, oh, that's super exciting, that's something my kid would want to play. And I think
Yeah.
that's a vast majority of people, honestly. They're not all like us, where we're watching every single one with Hawkeyes, seeing what little changes are from one presentation to the other. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, uh, final note for that for me is just I thought it was great. I thought it was a really good direct, and I really want to play some of these games now. And some of them were coming on unfortunate release dates that we're finding out. Everyone's piling up. I'm just like, please stop.
Oh yeah, and we'll get to a particularly interesting one in a second. The last thing I'll say is I have watched that Mario RPG trailer an embarrassing number of times by now,
So good.
and it's just I can't get enough of Yoko Shimomura's remastered music. That soundtrack is going to slap so hard, and just the 3 songs we get a preview of in the trailer, I just can't stop going back and listening to them. I can't wait. She's going to do an incredible job, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a whole new generation of Mario RPG fans after this remake comes out, and I'm so excited for that.
Oh, absolutely. And as Alpha Lion just said in our live audience chat, I need that FF4 boss theme remix. Yeah, what are they going to do with QLEX? How are they going to handle that? I'm so excited to see how they handle that fight and
I
everything.
was telling Daniel during our GVA stream that if uh if they add some extra content, maybe we get secret party member Luigi in the game.
Oh, that'd be so
Uh,
cool.
if maybe they replace the QLX fight with Sephiroth and they can finally live up to the meme.
That would be amazing. I
Yes.
I do find myself hoping they maybe sneak a little bit of new extra content in there.
I feel like they
They're-
can because they're being super faithful to the original while also adding a lot to it. So there's a lot of room to just flesh it out, add more things, and maybe Luigi can finally be in this and yeah, that more Final Fantasy references as well because Square Enix is on board with them using their characters. So yeah,
Right.
it's all depends what they want to do with that.
And this is
Vash
also
makes
going
a-
to.
an-
Oh, good.
Vash makes an interesting point, something that I've been thinking about myself. Uh, Gino was sent down from the stars and then took over the puppet. We have a character that fits that role now,
Yep.
being Rosalina, and that would be so sick
Uh-huh.
that all these years later we find out that it was Rosalina that sent Gino down to help Mario.
If she
I
was like
mean-
the quote unquote higher authority they talk about.
Yes, that'd be
Yeah.
so cool.
All this
Love
time,
that so much. That would be the coolest thing they could do.
I can see them doing it. Yeah.
That would be so sick. Completely. Yeah, I can't wait. Mario RPG is such a special game to me, to all of us. And I'm so glad that a new generation of players who never even experienced the Super Nintendo version are going to get to be exposed to this game. The only thing I don't love so far, and it's just more weird than anything, they got rid of the subtitle. And without, Legend of the Seven Stars, it's just kind of a plain Super Mario RPG. It's Mario, it's an RPG. It might even be Super, but that's it. And I'm like, it just takes some of the flavor out of the title, I think.
I mentioned this with Daniel on Thursday, but I think that's because the Japanese version doesn't have a subtitle.
It doesn't.
Oh, that's true. Good point. I hadn't thought about that. So that could be that could be the reason.
It's being super faithful to the to that in particular, because you look at the box art, it's just the 5 characters in a white void with the title, and that's just how the Japanese box art did it as well. And I was also just, maybe they didn't want to do Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars remake or whatever. They just wanted to keep it simple to also differentiate it as well, and just to have it sit on its own terms, because it really looks like it's going to be its own thing. So much personality in it. All the cutscenes. Are these cutscenes like animated battle attacks, FMVs, or I don't even know what it is at this point. I'm so curious.
And those 2 final battle themes are going to be, those remixes are going to be insane.
I can't wait.
Oh man, me neither.
I also want to see the Axum Rangers, because those are my guys, man. They're so goofy.
They're so good. So Daniel, you said something earlier that is kind of a perfect segue into our next little news story discussion. You mentioned that it's pretty crazy. Super Mario Brothers Wonder and Spider-Man 2 both released on the same day, October 20th. Like, 2023 will not quit. Why do they have to come out on the same day? But now, thanks to a potentially accidental GameStop leak, Sonic Superstars might be coming on October 17th. Which means we're getting all 3 of those games in the same week, Sonic 3 days before Mario, and that sets up the title of this episode. It sets up this, decades-old schoolyard playground war between Mario and Sonic, and it's kind of cool how we're seeing that come back in 2023 with a new 2D Mario and a new 2D Sonic releasing within just a couple of days of each other.
I was fine with Mario and Spider-Man on the same day, because they're very different games. They're not gonna like compete with each other whatsoever. And if I wanted to have this flavor of gameplay, I'll play this. If I want to play Spider-Man, I'll play this. But then you throw Sonic into that mix, I'm just like, because they're both kind of doing. It's funny because Sonic Superstars is kind of emulating what the new Super Mario Brothers series had done, at least as far as multiplayer. But I mean, if single player, it's going to be its own thing. It's going to play like the sequel to Mania that we've been wanting. Apparently, we haven't touched it. We can only take it from people's perspectives and their own previews. But then Mario's doing their own thing beyond that. They're taking what they know, and they're just kind of jumping into something completely different. So I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. I want to play both. I'm going to play all 3 of these games at some point. Yeah. But to have them all bunched together like this, it's a little overwhelming.
It really is. 2023 has just been an insane year for games, and it's just so packed, and it won't stop.
3 of my most anticipated games of 2023 coming out within 3 days of each other is nuts.
Yeah. And then a 4th one coming out a month later. Just less than a month later, a 4th one.
Please stop.
It's just too much. Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly going to be playing all 3, no doubt about that. I think because Superstars, if this release date's accurate, I'll probably focus on that first because it's coming a few days earlier, and I'm pretty certain that Superstars is going to be a significantly shorter, more replayable type of experience than Mario Wonder. I think Wonder will be, longer and meatier, which I know that's going to be taken out of context. I can't wait for that clip. But I think Mario Wonder will just be a longer gameplay experience. And so I think I'll be playing both concurrently, but I think I'll be, focusing on Sonic and knocking that out first.
Yeah.
I think they told us how many zones are in Superstars, didn't they?
Yeah, 12, I believe.
12
zones.
Yeah.
That's pretty beefy for a 2D Sonic game, isn't it?
Oh, totally. Well, it's Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
Sonic Mania had 12.
Yeah.
So, I think there'll be a lot to get out of Superstars. I mean, I'd like to at least play it once through with each character.
Definitely. No, I mean, I think there'll be a lot to it. I just mean that, 2D Mario games tend to have like hundreds of or at least over 100 courses.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. But yeah, I think they're both going to have a ton of content. And if we're playing that alongside Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2 comes out the week after. Like, it's just crazy.
Like, at least these games are notably much shorter than, for example, Tears of the Kingdom or Final Fantasy 16, which is nice. We'll be able to get through those a lot faster, and hopefully by the time other titles, like a longer title like Mario RPG comes out, hopefully, But yeah, it's just a lot to think about in the moment. I'm just like, it just seems overwhelming because now I'm trying to play through, as I said, Final Fantasy. I want to give the Pikmin games a shot. Ghost Trick is about to come out,
Oh
and
God.
just a lot to
Forgot
juggle
about Ghost
at this
Trick.
moment. Yeah, sorry about that. That's
And
also on the plate.
and I need to play FF16. I did play the demo. I enjoyed it. I love the battle system. It feels great to play.
Yeah.
I'm still not completely like loving the medieval setting, but everything else, as you guys told me before I played the demo, Clive is a genuinely interesting character, and I want to see where this story goes. But I'm still working on Zelda, and I feel like I'm going to be working on Zelda for at least another month, if not more. But I want to play 16. It's just I don't know how to balance it all.
Crazy year.
Yeah. It really is. Well, speaking of Zelda, this is kind of just a more fun news story, but I wanted to highlight it really quick. There's a Zelda fan just got a real life version of Link's arm from Tears of the Kingdom as a prosthetic arm, and there's not too much to say about this. I just think it's really cool. I'm gonna post this in
Oh.
both the YouTube and live audience chats. But it looks so cool. Like if you check out the pictures and the video, or mainly the video, I guess, it lights up and everything, and all the fingers move individually as they would on a prosthetic arm. But I just thought this was kind of a cool, feel good, just kind of badass story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is that cool?
I'm
Wait,
like-
it lights up in the middle.
Man, they like, yeah. Well, I guess the game's been out for a while, and we've known about his arm for a while, so they would have had time to make that. But yeah, that's awesome. That's something that not very many people can pull off very naturally as they have. That's really cool.
It's gonna
Definitely
be one
not.
hell of a cosplay later on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure. No, I just thought that was a really neat little quick thing to highlight. We do have a little bit more news to discuss, but not too much. But for now, let's go ahead and read out a few more super chats. Let's see. First off, we have Alan Wilkinson with £2. Thank you very much. According to rumors, E3 isn't just dead, it's expelled. And yeah, that almost, well, we were going to talk about that a little later. So I'll wait to comment on that until we get there. But thank you, Alan, and we will be briefly talking about that in a second, or in a minute. Jacomon with €2, thank you. This week feels like a crazy news week, honestly. Yeah, it has been. I mean, any direct week is a crazy news week, right? So, yeah, it's just been nonstop, and maybe July will be a little quieter. We'll see. Who knows? Lizard81288 with a pair of super chats. Thank you very much. First off, for $10. Will they keep the Mario and Bowser kiss in RPG? Also, will they switch out the secret boss? Perhaps Mario and friends will fight Sephiroth or a Heartless. Any Square bosses you'd like to see? Well, we actually just touched on this very specifically. I hope they keep the Mario and Bowser kiss. If they don't, I will be so disappointed. I will be so sad if they don't, because that whole sequence is so charming and fun. And yeah, and
They can't get rid of that.
they can't, right? They just
It's an
can't.
iconic moment in Marrymore. You can't just get
Oh.
rid of that with Mario and Bowser and Booster as well. Just
Oh, so true, so true. And yeah, I mean, I personally think they'll probably keep the secret boss, at the same as it was in the original, personally. But man, would it be cool if it was like Sephiroth or something, or yeah, I mean, Sephiroth would probably be the big one, I would think.
I just want to do the Mario and Luigi meme that's been going around
Oh,
of them
uh-huh.
fighting Sephiroth.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just want to live that.
It would be kind of cool if maybe we got, Gino did make a very small cameo, as we know, in the original version of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. So it would be cool if maybe we got like a reversal of that and maybe got like a bonus fight with Cackletta or the Queen
Fawful.
Shrew. Or
Somewhere
Fawful
there.
or something fun like that. That would be really cool.
I'd love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be neat. And then the second super chat with $2. Thank you. How would you rank the big three gaming presentations? Which I assume you mean the Nintendo Direct, the PlayStation Showcase, and the Xbox Direct or the Xbox Games Showcase. I'd say Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation. Honestly, PlayStation was kind of didn't bring it the way I think they needed to this year. For that
yeah,
presentation.
they had a long time. They had a long presentation, which didn't really do too much outside of like Spider-Man. There's a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. I can't remember much more than what they were showing, but yeah, between the big three, Nintendo, Game Pass, and PlayStation, yeah, I would put Nintendo at the top of that, and then Game Pass right under them. That's it.
Right.
Same
I think I
same
agree.
listing pretty much.
Next up, Jared Helder with $2 Canadian. Thank you so much. If Breath of the Wild was a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom, would it be a 10 out of 10? In comparison, probably not, because Tears of the Kingdom is just, it took what was already such a groundbreaking game and somehow broke new ground again and made Breath of the Wild feel almost trite by comparison. So if you started with Tears of the Kingdom and then you got a world that was 1/3 as big with abilities that aren't as interesting as Ultra Hand and such, and yeah, I think probably would not be considered in comparison a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, and the bottom line too is like Tears can't exist without Breath of the Wild.
Exactly.
So kind of a
Yeah.
moot point.
Yeah. Alrighty, one more for now, and then we'll move on with a little more news. Grantles with $4.99. Thank you, Grant. Hey, y'all. Currently in California and taking a break from socials, so not on Discord at the moment. So sending the good vibes to all. Well, thank you so much, Grant. Enjoy your time off socials, and have a good time in my state. Welcome to California. I hope
Welcome
you're
to
having
our
a great
home.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, or our state. Sorry, yours and mine, Daniel. Just different parts of it. Yeah. All right. Well, going back to the Alan Wilkinson super chat from a few minutes ago, there's some E3 news, and it's a little interesting. So, according to the LA City Tourism Board of Commissioners, E3 has been canceled for both 2024 and 2025. However, the ESA maintains that 2024's fate is still to be determined. I don't believe the ESA. I think E3 is canceled.
They announced it
Yeah.
pretty much right after when we would have had E3, and
Yeah.
for 2 years in advance. Yeah, I think this event's gone at this point.
I think it is. RIP E3. There's always a chance maybe ESA is telling the truth. I doubt it. I think they're just trying to kind of cover for themselves and not have the bomb dropped, as it were. But I think the writing's on the wall, and I'd be shocked if E3 ever came back at this point. Yeah. It's a shame for sure. But, of course, and in true Keeley fashion, and I knew it before I even went to Twitter, I knew he'd already either said something or retweeted it. And yes, as soon as I checked Twitter, he had already retweeted that announcement by the LA City Tourism Board or that news by the Tourism Board of Commissioners. And I'm like, you are so petty, Jeff.
This man has spite in his heart.
Man's
He does.
savage.
He does, and I don't even there are some people out there who can't stand him and think he's just like a pox on the industry and can't stand him hosting Summer Game Fest and the Game Awards. I don't feel that way. I think his passion for gaming is genuine. I think he's a perfectly fine host. Yeah, like I don't have a beef with him at all, and I don't hate seeing him during all these shows. But at the same time, my God, is this man petty toward E3? Like, Jesus.
Yeah. Good lord.
It's like that Simpsons episode. Like, stop, he's dead. It's just
basically.
Yeah, and I'm like, just let it die peacefully, Jeff. Jesus.
The man is dancing on its grave.
Yeah, it really is. It's pretty wild. So, RIP E3. Of course, nothing's fully confirmed, but I think we all agree that the writing's on the wall and that it probably actually is canceled for 2024 and 2025.
Shame it happened during the year that we thought we would all get together, and then just to find out after that fact that it would have, when it would have happened, that it's just not going to come back at all. So we're gonna have to find a way to get the crew together elsewhere at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I tagged John in our crew chat right after that, and I said, okay, makes it official. We got to get you out of here, out here for a Game Awards or a SGF or a PAX. One of those three. It's got to happen. So
Or a vacation.
Or a vacation. Yeah, just vacation out here in LA, and y'all can come. Steve can come. I would love for Derek to. I don't know if he will. He hates LA, but I'd love him to. But I love you, man. I love you, Derek. I hope you're having a great time on vacation. Yeah, so I desperately want to get John out here for something that isn't E3, since E3 probably is not a thing anymore. All right. Well, we started late. We had one more minor news story, but I think we'll go ahead and move on to the patron topic since we started a bit late. And but before that, I want to read out a few more super chats, of course. So, Laxnor with $4.99. Thank you. Hey, GVG, are there any Pokemon you guys like that seem to get a lot of hate? Sometimes I think I might be the only person who likes Ambipom.
Ambipom.
I don't know how much hate they get, but I feel like I've never seen this line be very popular. But I love ice cream, and I love the whole Vanillite line. I don't know if they're unpopular, but I feel like they never got that popular either.
They're the ones that people go to where like they're running out of ideas. Look at this ice cream Pokemon. Even though that whole generation had a lot of like inanimate objects and other such things become Pokemon, which was kind of partially the theme of it. Um, I don't even know. I don't even know what to see what the popularity is. Do people like Sudowoodo?
I love Sudowoodo. He's so
like
weird.
Sudowoodo.
I love Sudowoodo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's got that chaotic, weird energy that I love so much.
Some people think he's dumb, and I think that their opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
Also, he's Gen 2, which is I'm biased towards for any Pokemon in Gen 2, but I love Sudowoodo.
Also, anyone who's seen The Power of Us, if you hate Sudowoodo after that, you're just a bad person.
Right. Yeah, oh, totally. I mean, yeah, Sudowoodo is great. Yeah, the Vanillite line I feel like isn't particularly popular, but I like it. You know what? I don't love it, but I think it's funny. Klefki. It's literally just a set of keys, but it's
cute.
funny. It's cute. It's weird. So, but I feel like Klefki's not very popular either.
One
like-
Pokemon that I think gets a lot of hate just because it's in Smash and the way that all turned out,
Oh,
that I personally love is Incineroar. I've always loved Incineroar. I love the red and black. I love that he's a wrestler with a bad attitude. You know, he's playing the heel. It's fun.
yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of Incineroar myself, but I will admit it endeared me to it a little bit with Smash because of like the posturing and the wrestling, the wrestling moves and the posturing. That's pretty cool.
He's putting on a show.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing to the fans, yeah.
That's really appealing. I just don't ever want to be off stage playing Incineroar because trying to get back on stage with that character is a nightmare, kind of like the Belmonts.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next up, Disney Duncan is back again with $5 more. Thank you so much. I never knew Andrew, but I'll miss him as much as I miss Chadwick Boseman. Well, thank you very much, Duncan, for that, for sending that love about my friend. I really appreciate that. And of course, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman as well. Absolutely. RecBCQ back again with $5 more. Thank you so much. Playing FF7, and earlier today I got to the quest where Cloud cross-dresses. That whole quest is so uncomfortable. Cloud was rocking it though. You know, that is such a unique thing to that game, and it gives FF7 the wholly unique personality it has. And I was personally really glad to see that they didn't shy away from it in remake. And I thought they handled it perfectly.
They went 120% into it instead, and I think that was the right way to handle it.
Yeah, I thought so too. Now, of course, I can't speak, for anyone out there who may have found that offensive, and I'm not necessarily part of the community who would have, so I can't necessarily. I'm not speaking for anybody else and saying it was great, but I personally thought the way they handled it was fantastic. And like you said, they leaned into it, and I was a little worried they were going to kind of sanitize it, and they didn't.
Cloud is very pretty.
Absolutely, yep. And the way, like, I love how they characterize Aerith in remake during that part. The way she's like, when Cloud's on stage and dancing, she's like so into it, cheering him on, doesn't care at all how uncomfortable he is. It's so good. It's so good.
It's a great dynamic, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, and then two more super chats from Disney Duncan. Jeez. And then we'll move on to the Patron topics for the week. So, first off, $2. My dream 3DS ports are Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D. Can't argue with that. Sure, I'd love to have that. I think we all would. Or just rename them to Ocarina and Majora HD, because obviously they wouldn't be 3D. But yeah, love it. And then $2 more. Thank you. I want a Zelda spin-off with Zelda in the lead role. Another thing I think we all agree with. Playable Zelda outside of a Warriors game, please.
That'd be great.
It is her series. It's named after her, and yet she's never been playable in it.
The only, like, even slightly adjacent version of that would be Spirit Tracks, where you play as her as the knight when she's accompanying you throughout that game. But
that's true.
It's not like actually playing as Zelda, but
it's not quite the same thing.
Are you all forgetting Zelda's Adventure?
God.
I tried.
We don't talk about those. We don't. Those definitely do not count. All right. Well, on that note, let's move on to our Patreon topics for the week. And as always, a reminder that we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/GVGaming, and we have a variety of tiers you can support us at. But if you choose to support us at the producer tier for $10 a month, you can suggest, among other things, topics for each week's GVGcast, like the ones we are about to discuss right now. And Daniel, why don't you get us started off this week?
Sure. Let's see. So mine here, it's a bit of a long one. It's from the game Jamie is saying Super Mario RPG has finally gotten Nintendo love, my favorite childhood game, the game that started all kinds of Mario RPG games. Ever since 2003, we had two major RPG series, Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi. With AlphaDream shut down due to bankruptcy, RIP, we're down for one Mario RPG series, supposed to being Paper Mario. As Paper Mario isn't going so great with fans so far, and I believe Nintendo noticed this. I think they're using Mario RPG's remake as a test. If this goes well, hopefully Nintendo will take notice and talk to Square Enix about a possible sequel, maybe a series to fill in the large hole Mario and Luigi series has left. Do you think this is a possibility, or do you think differently about this? Well, I am definitely a Mario RPG and Paper Mario specifically kind of person, and I'm always been gutted ever since AlphaDream shut down because the Mario and Luigi series was pretty much just the RPG series to fall back on because Paper Mario has kind of taken its own direction. I don't think Paper Mario is as you're saying not going so great. I think it's doing well, at least better than what it has been, better than it has for a long time with Origami King. That was actually a really great title. It's not the RPG series that we wanted, that some fans wanted. But in its own, as its own game, I think it was a great entry to the series, and hopefully leaning back towards where hopefully it can go. But as for Mario and Luigi, Super Mario RPG, I think, man, I don't know about having it be a test. It's definitely partially preservation because there's a whole generation of Mario fans that weren't even alive. Not to make myself feel like I'm aging to dust, but just a lot of people who haven't played that game. Naturally, it's not on NSO, probably because they were saving it for this situation. But I do hope it gets people interested in the RPG series for Mario because there's been no titles of that whatsoever on the Switch. This is a title that we were sorely lacking. I personally would have preferred a Paper Mario game by a mile instead, but having the RPG series where they came from, its roots of where that came from, is also just as important to have people see and realize and recognize. But if there's a sequel to this game, I don't know, that would be incredible. But I feel like it's going to be just its own thing, and if people have interest, we're just going to move on to the Paper Mario series as to maybe perhaps see that be remade. I hope so, maybe on the Switch successor. But yeah, that's what do you guys think about this situation?
Go ahead, Ash.
Okay. I agree with a lot of what you said, Daniel. I think Jamie, I think your take makes a couple of assumptions that aren't necessarily the case. Like, for example, you said that Paper Mario isn't doing well with fans, but I don't think that's necessarily true. The Origami King is, in fact, the fastest-selling Paper Mario game ever, and it's the second best-selling game in the franchise. So, I mean, Paper Mario fans are notoriously divided on the game's post Thousand Year Door, and I totally get that. But I think, personally, Paper Mario's in the best place it's been since Thousand Year Door, really. And I think, the sales numbers don't lie about Origami King. And Daniel, I agree with you. Other than the battle system, which I get is a big chunk of the game, I didn't love the battle system, but everything else about Origami King, honestly, peak Paper Mario. It was right up there with the best of Paper Mario, I think. And
the world, the writing, the music. It's probably some of the best music in Paper Mario that we've ever heard.
The music is crazy. Yeah, no, I think it's a great, great game, and I think with a more traditional battle system, or more maybe something that wasn't quite as gimmicky, it would have been an easy contender for the best Paper Mario game ever, alongside, in my opinion, Thousand Year Door. So I think maybe you're making an assumption there, Jamie, that isn't necessarily the case across the board. And as for the other part of your question, Nintendo has shown us that they're perfectly willing to march to the beat of their own drum with Paper Mario. Sticker Star was so unpopular, and they knew that. They had to know that. But they were like, okay, we're still going to do Color Splash, and it's still going to be like Sticker Star, but improved. And they did it anyway. And it was a little better. I'd say, significantly better. And then but people are still saying, we want to return to that traditional RPG style of 64 and Thousand Year Door. They didn't do that. They did Origami King instead. So I don't necessarily think they're being very reactionary to the audience when it comes to Paper Mario. I think they're going to keep doing what they want to do with it, for better and worse. And maybe the next thing will be like a re-release or a remaster of Thousand Year Door to kind of help remind people where Paper Mario came from in terms of gameplay. But yeah, I don't think they're using Mario RPG as a test. I think they're probably very happy with how Origami King sold, and are probably already in development on a new one that's going to play and be kind of whatever they want it to be.
Yeah, I recall back in the day, I want to say that they talked about Paper Mario kind of changing directions because they didn't want to have two concurrently running
Right.
Mario
They
RPG
did.
series.
Mm-hmm.
And now one of them is seemingly gone. So maybe Super Mario RPG. I don't think it's a test like you guys said, but it could be a launching off point to birth a new RPG series that stands on its own. Paper Mario continues to do its own thing, and then we're just back to two series again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. So it sounds like we're all kind of coming to the same conclusion, just kind of making different points to get there, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to know real quick, Mr. L had the super chat of £2 saying pretty much this exact question: what if Mario RPG remake leads to a direct sequel? So I hope we were able to address that with that entire that topic right there. So
absolutely. Actually, I hadn't noticed that until now. Thanks, Daniel. So cool. Anything else we want to touch on with this, and before we move on?
buy Super Mario RPG so that Nintendo knows you want to have more Mario
Please.
RPG titles in the future, just like that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
In advance.
And if you've kind of ignored it because it's not traditional Paper Mario gameplay, please just try to get over that and give Origami King a chance anyway. It is so excellent around the battle system. So if you can try to give it a chance if you haven't wanted to so far. All right, Brandon, you're up next, my friend.
So, mine is a much less complex topic. Mine comes from Laker36, which says, "Which Pikmin is your favorite?" Mine is the white one with the big ol' red eyes. So, those people that know me, I like bunnies. Bunnies
Of
got
course.
big ol' ears, and because of the big ol' ears, I love me some yellow Pikmin.
Uh-huh.
I also love when they chain together and have the electricity going through them, but clearly they're enjoying it. It's very cute.
Yeah, you see it in the animation. They're like doing Christmas lights, essentially all linked together. They're having a good time when they're doing that. So I do love how they introduce that they have the electric element to them, starting with Pikmin 2.
They're clearly living their best lives, and they have big ears. I couldn't really ask for more.
Yeah. No, I can absolutely see why you went with yellow Pikmin. I didn't even realize they had those ears. Again, I mentioned this earlier. I'm not really a Pikmin guy, so I didn't even realize they had that difference. That's actually really cool. For me, it's hard because, again, never really got into Pikmin. I'm looking at all the types right now, and I'm torn. I really like the design of the rock Pikmin. I think it looks really cool. I like that kind of granite look. But I gotta be honest, y'all know my favorite element or setting in games is water, ice, all that stuff. And blue's my favorite color. So the blue Pikmin, they're amphibious. They can do cool stuff in the water. They're blue. I think I got to go with blue Pikmin.
Oh man, I love the of all the ones. I think for me it's the purple Pikmin. They're such chunky boys. When you meet them, the one does the whole sumo stance just to alliterate how powerful they are. They're so strong. You throw them, and if there's a small Bulbor, like the mini ones, it will just flatten them in one hit. They're very strong. They're very powerful. They have the strength of 10 Pikmin when they're carrying items, so sometimes you need them, especially for certain things. They're very slow, but and they're kind of limited because you only find them in caves. You can't have a infinite amount of them as you can with the other colors. So they're very valuable in that way as well. So I take very good care of my purple and my white Pikmin. I like both of those. But I'm just like Reggie. Sometimes I just feel like a purple Pikmin, and I just got that mood.
The white Pikmin always creep me out. They're just with the red eyes, the red buggy eyes. And I know they're poisonous too. They always creep me out.
They really play with that in those Pikmin shorts too.
Yeah.
The white Pikmin melting all of the metal with just because it's
really?
losing
I
its
hadn't
temper.
seen that. That's so
Yeah.
great. I hadn't seen that.
They're great. You should watch them.
Those are
Okay,
amazing
I should do
shorts.
that.
They're so.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love the Kid Icarus shorts, so I definitely should watch those. But yeah, like you said, Brandon, I love that we all had 3 different answers. That's cool. But yeah, like you said, a fairly lighter topic compared to Daniel's. And as it turns out, mine. So my topic this week comes from Chris Turlack. Thank you very much, Chris. And you were asking us if you've played at least as far as the demo in Final Fantasy XVI, you know there's a character who is absolutely reprehensible. Oftentimes, stories like to present us with antagonists who have tragic backstories or even have motivations that are believable and maybe even agreeable. But that's not what this question is about. Who are some of your favorite villains that are just plain old terrible? No redemption arc, no sad backstory, just pure evil. Good examples being Metalface from Xenoblade, Kefka from Final Fantasy VI, or Professor Harvey from Octopath Traveler II. And you already listed one that I was going to say, which of course is Kefka. I mean, absolutely just you can't make any apologies for him. He is ruthless. He is psychotic. He laughs while just killing tons of people. He rends the earth in two. He's just awful. He is absolutely just reprehensible, ruthless. You can't make any excuses for him. And I know people love Sephiroth, and I do too. Sephiroth is a great villain, but he does have that tragic backstory element to him, where it's like, okay, he went through a lot of shit. Fine. Kefka, he's just awful, man. He's just bad to the bone. And a couple of more that I kind of have on my list here. Luca Blight from Suikoden 2. If you know, you know. He's just one of the absolute worst of the worst. And then this is not necessarily a villain, but kind of an anti-hero. And I've mentioned this before, but if you've played the Azure Striker Gunvolt series, you know, or two at least, you know about a character named Copen. And he's got his own, like, side series now, and he's better in that. But in Gunvolt 2, and 1, actually, he's just the biggest anime racist you've ever seen. He's truly awful and irredeemable, in my opinion, until his own side series, which, he's not too bad in that. But man, the main Gunvolt games, he's just the biggest asshole and so racist. And you just want to be like, he's like one of those characters you want to defeat and just see him just humiliated because he's such a dickhead. And then I have one. So Brandon, this is interesting. You and I were talking about how we had one pick that isn't from a video game, and I'm curious if ours is the same. And mine is a villain from a recent movie, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And no spoilers, of course. But the High Evolutionary. If you've seen the movie, you know, or if you've read the comics, you know.
God.
This guy is just... He makes Thanos look kind of not that bad in a weird way. He's like he makes someone who literally snapped away half the universe kind of like, not that bad in comparison. This dude is just... You can't wait to see him just get his ass kicked on screen because he's so comically evil. He's just the worst of the worst of the worst. And one of my favorite villains in a movie in a long time. You just want to see him get defeated so badly. But it sounds like that wasn't yours, Brandon.
It's not. Mine is our Emperor, Lord Frieza.
Oh, yeah!
Lord Frieza enslaved an entire warrior race. When he became scared of them, killed them all in one blow. And then when he was on Planet Namek, he just casually killed another entire race, again.
Right.
And
that's so true.
He his motivation... His only motivation is that he wants to rule the universe. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
He's just an asshole, and nothing he can ever do can ever redeem everything he's done up to now.
Yeah, I might add, I mean, I'm not as obviously a big DBZ expert or fan as you are, but I did watch the Cell Saga, and I feel like Cell could probably qualify too.
Cell is an interesting case because he's not too unlike Goku in terms of what his motivations are.
Oh, really? Okay.
He just wants to fight strong guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frieza just wants to kill people.
He just wants to cause as much violence as he can.
Yeah. He is ruthless, and I love him.
It's amazing because you would think characters that are just evil to be evil are just kind of one note, and people are just like, yeah, just your typical evil villain just to be evil. But then characters like Frieza just have that kind of staying power where you're kind of hate him so much you kind of love him for it.
He's got this kind of rich boy attitude where you just want to punch him in the face.
Yeah, he's pretty awful. That's a great point. Because I watched everything up through, or I should say up until the Buu Saga, and watching Frieza finally get beaten down was so cathartic.
Oh yeah.
He's still awful.
Yeah.
In the recent Broly movie, he does something pretty terrible.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
Good to know. What about you, Daniel? Lay some truly horrible villains on us,
Oh
man.
gosh, it's definitely not going to be on the layer of Frieza, that's for sure. But I was trying to think of villains in the games I've played, but a lot of them I think of, they do have some kind of like backstory to them that they redeem themselves, or you just kind of relate to them in a way. But for some reason, my mind eventually went to the Portal games.
Oh, yeah, okay.
GLaDOS makes you do tests, and that's the worst kind of punishment anyone could ask for. But just the fact that it kind of reminds me of Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie, because you have this character that is teasing and taunting you and just saying, knowing things in your ear the entire way up until you finally confront them. And then and just to kind of, as that catharticism when you finally do get there and show them what's what. But also in Portal 2, I think a bit more so with Wheatley, because Wheatley introduces you as a friend, trying to help you get out of this place. You're stuck here, you don't know what's going on, and you're trying to find your way to GLaDOS. And then when you do make it there, he just kind of takes over, and then he becomes the villain. And just, he's probably one of the funniest characters in video games that has ever been given a voice. But at the same time, just so reprehensible in that same way as you go through the game. And I those two characters, they stand out for me. Obviously GLaDOS kind of has a returning arc as you go through Portal 2, but in the first game, yeah, that's something that I really remember her for. You had to destroy the companion cube because of her. So what other villain could
True
possibly
villain shit.
do that to
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of a silly answer, but there's not too many I could think of otherwise that is just like purely evil in their own context that I'm a fan of.
Point though. Like, she's literally heartless.
Yeah.
She's a robot.
Yeah, that's so true. And Captain Koshi in our live audience chat, you picked a good one. The villain of Splatoon 3. I'm not going to say who it is, since it's a relatively recent game, but yeah, that's a good one too. And I thought of one while we were talking just now, and of course, I got to get my mega mention in. But I do think that beyond a mega mention, this is a truly viable answer. Dr. Vile from Mega Man Zero. That dude, whew, the shit he does and how just evil to the core that guy is. He makes Dr. Wily look like a guy you could go out and have a beer with almost. He makes Sigma even. I mean, Sigma's pretty bad, but he even makes Sigma not look all that bad in comparison. But Dr. Vile is just, he wants to make people hurt and suffer as much as humanly possible. He doesn't really have that great a reason for it. He feels like he was betrayed in certain ways, but nah, whatever ways he was betrayed aren't nearly as bad as what he actually does. He literally just wants to nuke everybody, rule over everybody with an iron fist, basically be a dictator, and he's not apologetic about it at all, and he just wants to see the world burn. So if you've played Mega Man Zero, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's the last one I've got from me. What about you guys? Anything else?
That's pretty much it. Like the major ones I saw in here, like as you mentioned, I had thought of Metal Face from Xenoblade, but that was given in Chris's prompt as well. So, but yeah, reprehensible in every way.
Absolutely.
I see chat bringing up Joker. Joker's always a great answer for that.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's such a good point. Topaz Pikachu says Sigma was at least good before he was infected with the Maverick virus. Exactly. Vile doesn't have any such excuse. And also, Captain Cassia, Hojo from FF7. Screw Sephiroth. He's great, but in terms of a truly reprehensible villain, it's got to be Hojo.
Oh, yeah.
Kick that guy in the nuts.
Oh, he's just the
guy.
worst. He's awful. Yeah, so... that's pretty much. Oh, and I saw someone up above mention Lusamine or I don't know how you say her, Lusamine from Pokemon.
Lusamine.
Oh yeah,
Lusamine. Okay, Lusamine. Yeah.
She had that arc, and then they kind of botched it with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. But,
I remember Derek saying that. Yeah.
In the first game, yeah, she was just world's worst mother.
Yeah. No, she.
Maybe not anymore.
Yeah.
Compared to who?
Oh, well,
a new character.
Okay.
If you played more recent titles.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I played Violet, so it was a little bit different for me. But yes, I know exactly what you mean now. All
I don't
right.
think you do, but okay.
No, maybe I don't. Okay, I was thinking about something in specific. I'll bring it up after the show because I don't want to spoil anybody accidentally.
Okay.
Yeah, but cool. Well, thank you for those topics, everybody. And yeah, again, patreon.com/GVGaming. If you want to have us answer questions that are burning in your mind, then you can support us at the producer tier and get the ability to do that. With that said, we've got a few more super chats. Well, several more super chats, really. Y'all are so generous. And then we will move on to our patron exclusive post show. All right, next up, we've got Mighty Invincible with $5. Thank you so much. Let's all do ourselves a favor and agree to refer to Super Mario Brothers Wonder as the fresh Mario, so we don't have to keep saying new. I like that.
Good.
I like
Yeah.
fresh. Yeah, that's a good one.
The weird Mario. I'll be
or
calling
the
it
weird Mario.
in my case.
I kind of just want to call it Super Mario Brothers Acid because it seems like it's just an acid trip when you get the Wonder Mushroom.
I wish it was just called Super Mario Wonder. I mean, I know it needs the bros in there, but it kind of is awkward to say right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally. Disney Duncan is back yet again with $2. Thank you so much. Gino for Smash. And this is something I meant to mention earlier, but yes, Mario RPG Remake is absolutely going to refuel all the hope and speculation for Gino and Smash eventually whenever the next Smash game comes. Next up is Mr. L with £2. Thank you. What if Super Mario RPG Remake led to a direct sequel? What if? I know all of us would be over the moon for that. Be the dream, right? I think a lot of us have wanted a sequel to the original Mario RPG for a long time. So
yeah,
inject it right into my veins.
Yeah,
totally. I will take it.
Yeah. Next up is Rec BCQ with $2. Thank you so much. 6 out of 19 quotes in my GVG quote doc are Ash. Well done. All I have to say to that is nice.
I'm curious what's in that doc right now.
Me too. Me too. But I am proud of being that number. So thank you for the heads up. Next up, wow, what an incredibly generous super chat. Love Hugh with $25. Thank you so much. It's been a while since I've caught a show. Hope y'all are doing well. Fun fact, there's a Bayonetta patch slot machine with original music. Scent of Love is great. I did not know that. I know about the MGS3 patch slot machine with the amazing snake render, but I didn't know about Bayonetta, so that's cool. Very cool. And thank you for that incredible generosity, Love Hugh.
Thank you.
Next up, Kaiser the Fighter with $2. With another matchup question. Jack Black's version of Bowser or Jim Carrey's version of Dr. Eggman? Who would win in a theoretical matchup? I'm going to say that if Eggman has access to the Chaos Emerald or the Master Emerald or either one, it's him. But if he doesn't, I think Bowser takes it because that version of Bowser in the Mario movie was a more brutal, just intense version of, more violent version of Bowser that we usually see in the games. And I feel like just his overwhelming power and rage would probably outpower Eggman.
There was a lot of mention, an alarming amount of mention of death and killing in that movie. They were out for blood, and at the end of the day, Bowser has a massive bonsai bill to just nuke you with if he wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And there's that one line I always think of in the Super Mario Brothers movie where Bowser's like, let's see how brave he is when I kill his brother, and when he watches me kill his brother, or something. And I'm like, Jesus, Bowser! Oh my God, you're out for blood. So yeah, I think it's Bowser. Or and as Wataniac just said, open the gates or die. Yeah, totally. That's I think Bowser has to take this as long as Eggman doesn't have access to the emeralds, for sure.
Bowser's got a slew of power-ups you could probably use as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Rec BCQ, I did actually skip one of your super chats. I apologize for that. With another $5, thank you so much. I can't fathom how cute Mario is in the Super Mario RPG remake and Wonder. I need a plushie of the RPG Mario in particular. He's so friend-shaped. He is. I love that they kept the squat look for these characters. Uppies, yeah, exactly. But I'm so glad they kept that squat look for the characters. It's great. It's great, and perfect. He's so cute, and I love it. All right, just a few more right now. Disney Duncan back yet again with $2. Thank you so much. I'll never forget Bobby from Origami King, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I agree, and that's all I'm going to say about that for anybody who has not played that game yet.
My boy,
he's the homie.
He's the homie,
a real one.
Indeed. Yep. Jared Helder with $2 Canadian. Thank you. Where in Hyrule would you hang out when peaceful? Zora's Domain. You know me. I love water. I love swimming. I love
Good
ocean
answer.
stuff. And I love rain and cold weather. It's Zora's domain for me.
If it's Tears Zelda, Lookout Landing. I really like Lookout Landing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that place is actually, it's like a little hub as you. Well, I guess I can't really spoil anything for the Lookout Landing for people who haven't played it yet, but yeah, it's a nice little place where a lot of people gather, and little cozy little alcove underneath where you can just kind of chill out, have food, rest. Yeah,
Very cozy, as John would say.
yeah, very cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, where would I go? I'm trying to think of a place from Wind Waker, like Windfall Island. Windfall Island itself looks really nice to visit. It's got a bar. It's got a place to just chill out. It does have a jail, but don't worry about that. We're not going to talk about the jail. That and like Hateno Village is also really nice too. Just the fact
I
that
like
you
Hateno.
the fact that you have a home, your own little house there, and I don't know if I would be there for Tears Hateno or Breath of the Wild Hateno because I'm just not into the mushroom fashion. It kind of weirds me out. That you see now in
Not
Tears
my
of the
vibe
Kingdom.
either.
Yeah.
No, probably not. But
You know, and-
very cozy.
Now that I consider it more, Zora's Domain is still probably my answer, but I really love Rito Village as well. I love the mountains. Again, I love the cold. I love high elevations, and it's so beautiful there. So maybe not in Tears of the Kingdom so much as Breath of the Wild, but I love Rito Village, although I think it's still Zora's Domain for me. All right, Disney Duncan with another pair of $5 super chats. You are incredibly generous. The first one, if the Thanos snapped happened in real life, would you rather be snapped away for 5 years or live those 5 years before everyone is brought back? I would rather live those 5 years because how else am I going to play FF7 Rebirth at release? So, yeah, I'd rather live those 5 years. What about you guys?
I think both cases would be hell for different reasons.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah.
like maybe half your friends disappear for 5 years, and that sucks.
And you don't know that they're coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. And then 5 years later, if you come back after 5 years, you've missed so much stuff and you have to reacclimate to society.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot happens in 5 years. You just don't know all this. Yeah, all the things that would have happened, and obviously, yeah, within the context of that movie or of the movie of the universe, you weren't sure that you were going to come back. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hate it if like all my friends were just gone for 5 years. What would I do with my life?
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. And you know what? The Game Jamie just made a really good point in our live audience chat asking, what if FF7 Rebirth devs are some of those who got snapped away? Yeah, good point. I didn't think about that.
Brings
Crap.
new meaning to Rebirth after those 5 years.
It sure does. I still think I'd pick living those 5 years, as heartbreaking as it would be, because I think just the idea of coming back into existence 5 years later with no knowledge of what happened or where you've been would be a very difficult, emotionally traumatic thing to go through.
It would be hard.
Yeah.
And like at least when you come back, your people are there to come back
Yeah.
to.
Exactly. But also, what if, the people who stay, they don't know that anybody's ever coming back. So what if you're gone for 5 years and say, your partner was like, well, my partner is gone for good, dead, essentially. So they move on and you have to come back to life realizing that your
Ouch.
partner, that would be horrible, right?
Ouch.
That would be awful.
This has become a lot more deep and philosophical than I expected, and
I know, me
becoming
too.
depressed.
Yeah. All right, and the second of Duncan's super chats, also for $5. Thank you. Do you think the Switch version of Metal Gear Solid 3 will still have the Nintendo references?
No.
I don't think so.
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't think they're gonna bother to make the Switch version unique in that way. It would be nice, but I don't think so.
Rest in peace, Yoshi's. We'll miss you.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Next up, Evie Plays with an incredible $50. Thank
my
you
goodness.
so much,
Thank
Evie.
you.
Wow. I love y'all so much. I hope to see you guys cover all of Super Mario Wonder. It's my hypest game this year besides Tears of the Kingdom. Also, my first stream from y'all, too. Well, thank you very much for being here and for your
you.
kind words. We're so happy to have you in our audience. It's an honor. And thank you so much for being here and, following our content. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna be all over Super Mario
Oh,
Brothers
yeah.
Wonder, and at the very least, Brandon and I are gonna be streaming that whole game on our Twitch channel, which we will happily do perhaps multiple times depending on what characters we use. But we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we're excited.
Right. Absolutely. All right, and this was our last super chat, but one last one just came in. Thank you so much, everybody. But this one is $2 from Ryan's World. Thank you very much. The new WarioWare makes me want new Wario Land. I think a lot of us would agree with you there. A brand new Wario Land game would be awesome. And I don't even like
want a new Wario. I actually want a new Wario World. I
Oh,
feel
me
like
too. I like
one
Wario
of 3
World.
people who loves that game.
I liked it. It was cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. And then I believe our last super chat of the day, D with $20. Thank you so much, D, with no message, just an awesome dancing game controller saying "woot." So thank you for that, D. And if you did have a message, please go ahead and post it in chat, and I'll read it out really quick before we wrap up the show. But speaking of wrapping up the show, we're about at that time. Thank you so much for being here with us for episode 62 of the GVGcast. You know we love doing this with you every week, and I'm going to do something a little special this week because we can't do the usual producer scroll. And all of you producers, you deserve to have your paid for credit every episode that you usually get. And so because we can't display your names on screen this week, I'm going to do something I haven't done in several months. And I'm going to read you guys out too. And I'm going to read you out and then the EPs so you all get your fair recognition this week. So here we go. All of our amazing patrons at the producer tier and above are Jared Edinger, Jacob One, Mikhail Walburn, Felix Nebulous, Don Koopman, Kevin Online, Sonic Kurosaki, Nick Munger, BeerJ373, Iggy Coop, Kieran Das, Bedruchon 13, Meowstix, Super Duper Pooper Scooper. I love saying that one so much. Blindman, Light Up Bob, Sam Nicholson, Darts, Peter J. Ortiz, DJ Andy, Joseph Bayer, Tony, Squire, Ben Frick, Eddie B, Emil, Micah R.Y., Colix, Andy Chung, Legend of Jess, Luxcare, Chris Lewis, Daniel Codd, Gold Lichting, Michael Abuda, Refined Pet, Valimar, Hayes, Kristenten 2025, Chloe Schuyler, Mega Amster, Abisla Osani, Sir Stupefy, Jack Hines, Twilord, Jackomon, Corin Flakes, which I love that name so much, Screamo Shaman, Jack Salmons, Claxend, Risemon, Kim, Britton Patton, Duke of Donuts, Riley McGowan, Matthew Reynolds, Kyle the Monarch, I Eat Dragons, Kyle Gamer and Barry Rookie, Salad Dinner, Caitlin, Leo Silva 75, Diogo Silva, Chris Turlack, RHKJ No Nitro, Graceful Gazelle Gaming, Brad SF56, Disney Duncan Metcalf, Goomba Odyssey, Terrastorm, Abribri, Cosmic Crab, Ghost Wolf, Stoby, P. Sharp, School of Rock and Roll, Zoob Mayer, and last but certainly not least, Brandon Digwood. Thank you all so much, all of you producers. We apologize that we couldn't have your name scroll today, but I hope you enjoyed your vocal shout-out. And now, as always, we have to give an extra special shout-out to all of our patrons at the executive producer tier and above, and those wonderful, amazing folks include Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Z Patty, Just Brian, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Blake, Critter XD, Joy Content, Angel Martinez, Vedron, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran127, Black King, Joseph Rutkin, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Wataniac, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Brady Power, Darchi, Becca, Killamox, Sean Davis, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber CPHT, Too Much Spaghetti, Bane 400, Ascaron 809, Ryaner, Nathan Steele, Puppy Wuppy, Rain and Clouds, The Game Orb, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Rosa Pardo Bowling, Hi Steve's Mom, Skull Kid Tiger, Dark Steel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Derek, Colin, Blaystar 25, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Keel, Moon Knight, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Brainchild, the entire state of Wisconsin, Jim Wakeland, Longboy Shiggy, Aramis Baramis, Dat Alpha Lion, Lord Metarex, Blaze Collard, Eric, Cat Evie Person 5, Aflac McQuack, Peyton Thiel, Mega Beatman True Blue Reviews, Jung Ant, Ryan Hanley, The Game Jamie, and again, last but certainly not least, Danny Walsh. Whew, thank you all so much. You all are incredible. We love you so much. We hope you enjoyed this episode of GVGcast. Also, make sure to go and check out Brandon and Daniel over on our Twitch channel. They do Good Vibes Arcade multiple times per week. It's always a lot of fun, so please do check them out on Twitch. That's it from us today. We're about to go do our Patron exclusive post show. We love you, and good night. Well, good night and good vibes. Bye, everybody.
Till we meet again, all.